Hello and welcome to the next part of In Force to Heaven Scenario 6 playthrough, second half of September 2nd turn. First, a few comments regarding previous videos. I've done corrections to some counters, like the airbase, which has now correct two ranges. Black is a air cover range, blue is now corresponding with HQ range, which shows what is the range modification. And the second one is a fix of logistics marker, which is now properly has -2 on the back. I have found a missing unit that I forgot what have I done with it, and it is right here in the rail infrastructure. I had to go back and see the video what has happened with this unit, and forgive me if you ever recorded video like this. It's just important to keep talking and keep talking to not have any gaps, and in the same time thinking about two moves ahead, and as a game designer thinking if you are definitely not making any rules mistakes, which would be embarrassing in your own game. So I comfort you, I do not make much mistakes. Anyway, if any mistake occurs, I will always comment it in like with the VP and losses that I forgot to count. So, one more note about this DFR, the alternative DFR method, which is I said that we are adding DFR points, and actually this is incorrect. With markers, we add used DFR, so this unit still has 2 DFR points left. In case with this incorporated number into the graphic, we are counting down DFR that is left. So for example, this unit has used 1 DFR, and this unit has used 1 DFR, and it shows that it has 3 DFR left. If you can let me know in the comment which method is better, or maybe we can change a counter to count down remaining DFRs. I will gladly know what you think about this. So let's go back to the gameplay. We have 9 p.m. turn. Let's open the time track. Sorry, it was right here. It was 7 p.m. right? Yes, 7 p.m. activation. Let's see, Navy. We will not advance time with this one. So we have two ships, Vicher and Gryf. Let's see the mine laying table. With two ships and damaged Gryf, we have only chance to lay this mine barrier on the roll of 6, which is not really those odds are not really good, and if those two ships are lost, then they are just lost. But if we are able to escape with those units from Danzig Bay, every escaped unit will add 1 morale, so it's worth trying. So this is one action with the naval activation, and the second one, there is no German unit crossing central Wisła. Well, it's not central, it's still upper Wisła, but this part of Wisła, so river flotilla is not needed for now. We do not advance time. Let's see another activation, and we've got a logistics check. So it looks like almost all units, yeah, I think all units are without any supply problems. So we will, to not drag this video, we will not discuss what are the ranges and how are in detail supply roads used. In short, units count to supply source or their parent HQ, and HQ has to trace line of supply via roads to a supply source, which in case of Polish player are supply bases. So this unit definitely is now in supply, and everything else is fine. We place this cheat on the upper line just to see immediately at the end of the turn if logistics was checked or not. Oh, sorry, we do not advance time again because there is no clock. So we get another cheat, which is no activation, which means that something happened in the other side of the country. And we've got Plan West. In case of Plan West, we have two options. To play the Plan West, which is a plan activation with special limitations that come from the Plan West card, and alternatively, we can play the second part, the second side of the counter, which is a normal army activation with -3 moral cost. If we were able to finish mine laying, Plan Rurka, we would replace this cheat with Plan West R Rurka, which has moral penalty of -2 instead of -3. It represents kind of look at the ongoing campaign from the general staff that it's going according to the plan. It would give a little more confidence to the general staff, but it's not the case at this moment. So with the Plan West cheat, it is always good to take a brief moment to think if at first it can be done at all, because if it can't, it can be picked, and secondly, if it is beneficial to play the Plan West, because you can always pick the second part, but with a loss of morale, which is still pretty high, but it can change in a matter of hours. It's like it in case of storytelling, it's like in the morning it's all good, we're keeping our front lines, and then there are a bunch of bombardments, something goes wrong, and the Plan West falls apart, and in a matter of hours in the evening, morale is almost at the point of breaking. So right now, what the Polish player has to do with the Plan West does not apply to Poznań and Prusy armies. Polish player will need to perform movements to ensure that at least steps of combat units in every Polish army except Poznań and Prusy are adjacent to German units. It is to keep contact and not give ground. Let's first see if this condition is met at the beginning, of course, of the activation, or if not, if it can be achieved. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 steps. That's it. That's enough. Pomorze army is fine. We have some additional here. In case of Modlin army, we have 2 steps in here. 3, and that's it. We will need to definitely move with Modlin army to keep contact with German units, and this won't be a problem. And in case of Narew operational group, it is not considered an army for this purpose, which means those units do not have to keep contact with German units, which, as you can see, it's even impossible and makes no sense. So all we have to do, and the Poznań army is in similar situation, it was deep behind front lines, and Prusy army is actually a reserve army, which also is kept for counter moves. So for the Pomorze army, okay, so we can have this covered, and we need to check the second condition, which is perform attacks equal to half the number of Polish armies on the map rounded down. Again, armies on the map. We don't count Poznań and Prusy armies, and armies means not operational groups, which means we have two armies right now, Modlin and Pomorze, so we will have to make one attack. And this is to show mostly Western allies that Poland is fighting. And I see at least one good occasion to do this. First attack can be made right here, even in movement stance, because mobile units can still attack after movement. Second chance might be in this sector to strike 21st Division. We have those two units in range, which is fine. And maybe even if we are not obligated to make this attack, I think it might be a good thing to do it anyway. Or not, because for Pomorze army we have one conflicting orders and we have early night time, which gives also combat DRM -1. Okay, so we are going to do this one, this attack. So with this covered, we are now sure that we are able to meet the first condition and we are able to do the second condition, which means we can pick the Plan West side. And if the situation is really not dire, it's always good to keep morale as high as possible, because it will go really quickly down if the Polish player makes some sometimes even silly mistakes. So first, let's pick stances. Army Pomorze will take combat stance to keep the line in case of withdrawal and BL table and hold position table. Army Poznań will stay in movement, Army Modlin in movement, and SGO Narew will change stance. No, we will keep it in movement because we can move this unit. Another gameplay mistake that I did. There was a chance to move this unit before, but I simply forgot to do. Sorry about that. So with Pomorze army, we cannot make any movements, so we will stay. And by the way, in plan activation, armored trains can move, which should be indicated in here. Performs, is it? Special abilities. Yes, can move only during a plan activation or the night phase. So let's move with, and we won't make any attacks. It's just to change stance in Pomorze army. Let's move this unit with 3 movement points. We have 2 left, so no recon modifier will not apply. We cannot do anything with those units. We will move 8 division, and now we have 6, 7, 8, 9 steps adjacent. Let's add, let's subtract the remaining DFR in here. Let's move this unit to this hex and this regiment 1, 2, 3, 4 to this hex. 41st Division, is it in command? Yes, it is. 1, 2, and 3. And this will be DFRX. With this unit, let's move with it north. We don't have to man physically those defensive lines anymore, so we can move out of those. Oh, finally this division can finish loading. And let's move with this regiment, with this brigade. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now about Prussia restrictions for those 3 units. There are a few rules about when those restrictions are lifted. One of those is if there is no Polish unit in the radius of 4 hexes. So for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, this unit is still blocked by this brigade. This unit is blocked by this unit, and this unit will be blocked by this unit. As long as those units stay in place and this brigade don't go too far, those units will be still restricted. Other restrictions lift rules. Well, let's leave it for later. Suwalska Brigade is out of command, so it can move only with half movement points allowance. So let's do this. 1, 2, 3. And this will be it. So now let's perform our mandatory one attack, which is here. So we have 1 to 1. Unfortunately, we cannot place army artillery because of movement stance. Oh, let's move also armored trains. This one will stay in place, and let's move with this north, so it will help any of those units if needed. Wrong. I don't remember which was it. Was this hex? Wrong. Excuse me. We have now rail infrastructure bombarded, which means this train is kind of a target for lurking Luftwaffe units bombarding railway lines. And in case of 6 box, armored train need to perform a movement check. So we need to roll a die, and the die will show how many hexes this train can move. And it is 3, so it is enough to move to this hex. So proceeding with this attack. So with the modifiers, let's open this up to not miss anything, and you'll have a little okay, let's just check all of them. So first, terrain does not apply, conflicting orders no, failed coordination. We've got a night attack, so that's -1. Does not it does not this does not apply, this does not apply. We don't have any of unit state, and we don't have any mobile units DRMs, because those additional night DRMs only apply for armored units. So can Polish player add any additional support for this combat? Let's see if this unit is in range. 8 plus 1, no conflicting orders for this army, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yes, it is in range, which means we can use a divisional artillery, which is +1. But the German player can now respond. Well, let's first analyze what results are the most probable, and it is BLEX. And for the German player, this might be a something to accept, but there is a still one shot of army artillery, and actually the third army has still divisional artillery. Let's see what happens if we use both of those. So it is shift and -1 DRM, and ALBL looks even better. Let's go with this. So let's use a shot of this artillery, and let's use the last divisional artillery point. Let's roll 2d6, and it is a double. So the final result is a 2, which is AL, and if the result would have been now 1, it will be a double AL. But as it is a double roll, if we check this table, A double roll in case of attacker loss is instead attacker stall. So we do not take any step loss as a attacker, but instead, even if this is a mobile unit, we are taking a DFR X. So this unit won't be able to move anymore during this turn. In the evening it doesn't really matter, but in the beginning of the turn it might prove crucial. And that's it. AO changed into attacker stall with DFR X. We're done with this attack. The most important thing is, no matter the effect, we achieved our Plan West goals for the border battle. So as this is a plan, we move this cheat 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. It affects all of the units on the map. And the last activation of the day is going to be, well, maybe not last. This is interesting cheat because it has two sides and neither side advances time, so it is not over yet for this day. One side is Polish Air Force activation, and this could be useful. The second one is artillery setup for all armies, so it's kind of like a defensive cheat that there's in order to just prepare. But I think it will be more beneficial to use Polish Air Force. First, let's see how many Luftwaffe air raids were there before. It was one, as I remember correctly. Right, so there's still a risk that is going to be a second one, but we will risk anyway and flip this airbase for assembled airbase. So like it's not spreaded. Airplanes with all of their equipment are now in one place, which is known for the Luftwaffe, and it can be easily destroyed if the Luftwaffe performs a raid. And the second thing that we can do is a air raid with Polish bomber brigade. So relocate air bases, flip air bases from FO to R side, flip air bases that not moved from air to FO. So FO means fully operational. Perform bomber brigade air mission. As you might remember, we have one bomber brigade unit that is available for us this turn, and actually it is able to perform an air raid mission. So it has kind of two missions. One is you simply put the unit on the map and it creates +1 movement point penalty for all German mobile units on the map. The second one is we can perform a fully, and this is what we're going to do. So this will cost only one, let's call it life point. It represents number of planes, so we will lose 4 planes for this mission. And the second option is to attack straight, perform a air bombing run straight against a German mobile unit, which might inflict a DFR X on the bombarded unit, plus it creates the same zone of influence. So it is not a step loss, it is only a DFR X, just stops the German unit. So naturally, regarding that this is almost end of the turn, it's not worth doing. Why? Because cost of this mission is a 1d6 loss of airplanes. Actually, 2d6 divided by 2. So still it is around 2 to 3 points of planes. So you make 2 moves like this and you have no more bomber brigade. So let's just place this unit in, for example, this hex to block this unit's movement if it wants to transition to another hex. As time is not advanced, we still have activation, and it is a Polish plan. To not drag the gameplay, I think there's not much that the Polish player can do with the plan, except changing stance, because all of positions are pretty well. Again, if I sat and did some thinking 5 to 10 minutes, I would probably come up with some brilliant ideas, but for the sake of keeping this gameplay going, I am deciding that we simply do nothing with this plan, uh, as it is the last activation. So now, and this goes to the end. There is no +3 on the time track, and this row is only for conflicting orders calculations. There is no +3 row because it is not needed, as this is the last activation. So we finish our action phase, and as you can see, there is a still German plan 2 on the time track. This means that the German plan has not been played, and this is kind of a consolation prize for the lost activation. It functions like a German plan on the night column, which helps German player to move infantry units in the night marches without any penalties. The same will apply for the Polish player, as there are actually two plan markers at this point. And this, in case of storytelling, says that orders that were issued around 11 p.m. are still ongoing during the night, in which there's a little less activity. So let's jump into sequence of play. Optional logistics check. We did have a logistics check, so we skip this one. Polish staff. We do not relocate general staff. Checking card display 2. None of these effects apply. Plan West stage. Allies have not declared war yet, so doesn't apply. Polish counteroffensive announcement, no. Daily reports. Polish player first. So let's roll for this, for Armii Pomorze report. And it is a daily report replacement, because we rolled one, which is equal. Let's give it to this unit cannot regain a step loss because it has detached two regiments. So let's give this replacement to this unit. The rule here, and one small comment: it used to be much more fiddly, because it actually is still in the optional rules. If I can show you this file, and it is precise daily report, which estimates around 10 to 15 more minutes per turn. You simply, with each unit that suffers a step loss, you rotate such unit 90 degrees, and then you remember which units actually were fighting at this turn. So it is more precise daily report, and of course much more realistic. But to keep this fiddliness out of the game as much as possible, the rule is that in case of daily reports replacement, you simply prioritize units that are adjacent to German units, even if those units did not really fight in this turn. So for example, if this unit had a step loss and did not move or fight or attack or being attacked at this turn, you would be still legally able to add a daily report replacement point to this unit. The next army is Modlin. Let's roll. It's a 3, so nothing. And let's now jump to German armies. First, we count all of the losses. So we've got 2 daily reports. We mark this on VP track as 2 German losses. And then we roll only for the third army. Really? Only one army? not much losses this turn. 6 is a nothing. So we delete this and we proceed with legendary battles check. We had none. Russia restriction release, no Polish March losses. Let's open the March losses table. We roll 2 dice. It is 3 and 5. Modlin Narew and Prusy Lublin. We would add a Polish normal replacement point, but Prusy and Lublin or Lublin armies are not on the map, thus we do not add this point. It's a special scenario rule. And now we need to check if any divisions, we do not count any regiments, if any divisions in Modlin, it was Modlin? Yes, it was Modlin. If any divisions are tired, so do they have DFR X marker? And actually there is only one division, which is this one, and this means that this division will take a march loss, which will be marked as a step loss with a disruption. And yes, a unit can be destroyed with a march loss, step loss. It could simply cease to exist. Right, this is done. Pocket creation, no. Refugees, none. City clearing, no. Night movements, German player first in each step of sequence. Armored divisions can detach spearheads. Camp division doesn't really matter, and in this division we have this spearhead already detached. Next, cavalry brigades can move 1 hex, just like that, without consideration of any movement points or ISOCs or command ranges. Pomorska is already destroyed, right? Yes, Pomorska is destroyed. Any case of those two units, I think they are positioned well. We don't want to move this Podlaska because we will ease this restriction. We will need to push some unit up to keep this unit in Prussia. And, well, the German player should be first actually at this point, and this cavalry unit will be moved. Continuing, infantry divisions with printed DFR 4, not marked X, and DFR 3 marked X can perform movement if the proper activation cheat is on the night spaces of the time track or loses a step. Both units have proper activation cheats. Starting with the German player, we move all of those units. Actually, the army, Fourth Army didn't do much during this day. Well, it happens. So first, let's see if this unit can move. Well, it cannot, because no more than 3 MP cost can be used for this movement. So this unit cannot move to Nakwo. This unit cannot really move. Those are not divisions. This unit cannot move. Those units cannot move. This unit can move. 1, 2. And for the German player, for the Polish player, no, we're not going to. Oh, this division. This division has 3 DFR marked X, but as stated, it can perform still a movement. So that's with this one. And let's proceed. If I find anything that I forgot to do, then I will simply correct it in the next video. One. Motorized Corps HQ movement. Let's see if 19th Corps has been activated. It has, so HQ cannot move. Rail transports. We will not shift positions of any armored trains. We have this transport train, and according to the rail infrastructure, we have a movement of 6. So let's go towards now. Do you want to turn north or do we want to go towards modeling? Let's go towards modeling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Soviet fronts do not apply right now. Cleanup. Remove all DFR markers. So to reset all of those DFRs that were counted on units, I'll use a special command. And for the rest of markers, we have a remove DFR magic marker. Then we remove all shock markers, army artillery units, return to army command displays, go back and go back. Then refresh divisional artillery units. Let's do with this. Live on the table with the physical game. Of course, it's much faster if both players manage their own armies. And this means 2 players as well as a multiplayer game. By the way, there will be special rules regarding multiplayer and maybe even some solo gameplay guidance, but I will keep this a mystery for the printed rulebook. Luftwaffe unit now go back to their respective holding boxes. So this one goes back. This box is, as you might remember, permanently covered with LF4 unit, so this unit stays in place. And this unit goes back to the S, and we have one unused tactical air support. And we should have 8 units in this stack. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yes. Rotate used tank battalions. We have none. Automatic bridge repair doesn't apply just yet because there is no German rear in Poland. HQs. We have no reorganizations to do. Believe me, there is no relocations. Corps Reserve Unit command, nothing happens here. Delayed command, nothing happens here. No counteroffensive or house in SG. Radio broadcast, lower Westerplatte level on 1. So the radio is broadcasting news. Newspapers are writing something new for the next day. And let's see if Schleswig-Holstein bombardment gives any effect on 5 on 6. Nope. So there are 5 days ammunition left for 5 days of fighting in Westerplatte. And if Radio Warszawa is operational, we raise morale 1 for first for Westerplatte and then for Hell base still defending, which is up here. So we add 2 morale on the track. We are at 9, which is very good, which is actually better than normally. Danzig Bay. If the Polish fleet is on the mine holding box, perform mine lane check. Or if it is on escape box, remove them from the game and add 1 morale for each escaped ship. This is what we do, and we have maximum morale of 10, which does not have immediate effect for now. When we start the late mobilization at September 4th, it will have a significant influence, but it may as well drop to 0 in the course of the next turn. We might see this. Schleswig-Holstein can be changed to start bombarding some units to start helping battles on the coastline, but it doesn't look like there's going to be any in any coming time. So we leave it in Westerplatte. And Warszawa reconstruction, lower Warszawa destruction level by 1, which should have additional morale point because the marker has left this spot, but it doesn't matter. Warszawa is still active. Radio, we do not have Warszawa encircled, and we do not have a mandatory attack. So remove all cheats from the time track. Put Plan 2 and Logistics 2 on the night holding box, if played, and reset the counter of 5 a.m. and move calendar to the next calendar space. So that's it. This all goes to the pool, this goes to the pool, this goes to the pool, and we have all of this done. We are prepared for the next turn. This I will leave this tank battalion for now. Oh, and in the course of a turn, I should have also returned this unit. And that's it. We are at the end of the September 2nd turn. I will make a brief video regarding what is the overall situation and what options are for the both players regarding victory conditions of the scenario, because it is important to know what do you want to do to win the scenario. So see you in the next video and thank you for watching.